Hello, welcome to this very segment. My name is Nola Toye, and I am glad that you enrolled your child for this year's summer coding class. And pretty much, we organized this session to more or less explain how the program would run. The program is going to be from August 1st through September 8th. We believe by September 8th, the students should be in session. So this program is pretty much a follow-up on last year's edition where we trained multiple students on how to code. And from the feedback and also some of the things we learned from the process, we plan to make this year's version even better. So our goal this year is also to enhance students with problem solving skills and also the ability to write executable code. So this year we have three categories of learners. We have people who are physical, we have people who will be joining us virtually, and we have students who are going to be fully hybrid. So which means they're going to be available physically and also virtually as well. So for us to be able to do this effectively, those who will be meeting virtually, those who will be meeting physically will be Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So those are the days that we'll be having the physical conversation. Now, for the physical conversation, the timing is from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. So from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, just bring your child and we'll be with them for those 3 days. For the virtual session, we're going to be having Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday. Now, the virtual session is going to be from 11 a.m. through 1 p.m. That's 2 hours. Within this time, the instructor is going to be meeting with the students and able to learn. And at some point, of course, they're going to be able to ask the teacher or instructor questions, and the instructor is able to answer them as they proceed into the learning process. Now, while we have students even outside Nigeria, we have students from UK, we have students from USA, we have students from outside of Lagos. The plan is also to make sure that we engage the students effectively in such a way that they don't really feel like the instructor is not with them. So as much as we can, we are going to be reaching out to the parents, and we encourage that we get the buy-in, we get the support as required. So pretty much my team will be following up with the parents for each of these engagements, and we encourage that we get your support to be able to do that. Now, one thing I really want to mention is that we have just about 18 days for this program, right? We have just 18 days, so it's not something so long, just 18 days, and we know that, of course, this may not come very easy, but we know that at the long run, this is a very huge investment. So, what are the things that we're going to be doing in this very program? We're going to be looking at coding fundamentals. Students will learn basic coding through interactive exercises. They're going to be building some games. They're going to be working on real life example. And the cool thing about this whole training is going to be project based. So students will have the ability to actually build something. And some of what they'll be building are actual games. Some of the students or kids are curious as to how some of these games are being built. Our job is to ensure that we show them how these things are being done and make it interesting in such a way that they can even build one for themselves. Now, there's something I should still mention. The game is not going to be in the full form because the games that they are going to be building are command line games. I know some of these terms might not be something that we're used to, but the point is that these children will have clear understanding on how to give instruction to the machine and giving them the opportunity to have the versatility they need to be able to adapt to whatever comes their way as they grow into the future. So they're going to be hands-on workshop, things that they can pretty much just dive into. We're going to try as much as we can to make it very, very interactive. And I have my team on ground to make sure this is very seamless. Now we have three responsibilities that we want to really express. One, responsibility from Instinct Hub, responsibility from the parent, and also responsibility from the student. Now let's take a look at the responsibility from Instinct Hub. Our job is to ensure that the curriculum are well distributed, that the students adhere to the plan, and our experienced instructors are able to also communicate effectively in ensuring that every child that enrolled for this training benefits what we have promised. And aside that, they're also going to be having valuable learning experiences, because this is not just going to be coding alone, it's problem solving. When it comes to problem solving, it covers very large range of activities. So pretty much full of things that so many things that we'll be doing. Our job is to ensure that everything that we have on our agenda, every child partake effectively and they achieve greater success from them. Now, the responsibility from the parent is, yes, while we have all of these resources available, the thing is, while they are with us, yes, we can ensure that they obtain all of these things. But when they are away, we encourage parents to always check in to make sure that they go back to the app. You just make sure they go back to the app. That's all we just want them to do. Once they go back to the app, they keep learning, and we're able to also track their progress as well. So please encourage them to always learn, especially when they are doing something and you feel like, okay, they should do something meaningful with the time. You can always redirect them back to the app to learn, and also encourage them, because the truth is that in this very segment of learning, we're introducing them to something new, something that they've never tried before. So some of them may try to fight it, some of them may not even be interested. It is important that we actually encourage them to take it very serious, because the truth is, when they are going to need this, they are going to be super happy in future when they're able to do some things and they remember how all these things plays out. Example I always give is, these days we use platforms like Facebook, we use platforms like Instagram, we use platform, we know about Elon Musk, we know about Bill Gates. Those people were pretty much engaged when they were in their 7 years old. Their parents would take games away from them and instead, give them books to read and tell them that if you must play games, then you have to build it yourself. But in this era, yes, they don't really have to read books, go through that pains. The reason why people like us are here, to ensure that the parents have the access to information that they can give to their kids that would more or less optimize the entire process, and they're able to do it in real time. So just preparing these children for that future engagement is something that we believe that every parent should really encourage their children to do, whether they enjoy doing it or not. But it's something very important that every child should cover. Now, let us talk about the responsibility for the student. We expect all of our students to complete the assessment. We're going to be giving them assessments, so when we finish with them, we're going to be giving them assessments. We expect that they finish it. We're also going to be expecting them to participate in discussions, interactions. We don't expect that they keep to themselves. So just encourage them to communicate, encourage them to seek for help. One thing about when it comes to this technology space is that you can't do it alone. You need to ask for help. So whenever they get stuck, they should ask for help. So always encourage them to engage their instructor whenever they need help, and we are here and ready to help them. So let us look at the program highlights. Like I mentioned earlier, fundamental to coding concepts, we're going to be looking at the building blocks, things like variables, data types, operators, control flows, and these are like the foundation to how every application, every mobile app, every website you visit, these are like the foundation as to how programmers are able to bring all of those things into the limelight. Also, they're going to be fundamental and fun engagement and activities. We're going to be engaging them with daily quizzes, assessments, weekly games to reinforce their learning, and make sure that it's not just boring. There are going to be a couple of games, and aside that, there are also going to be a couple of prizes as well. So some students will be going away with their prizes. So yes, we just want them to put in their best. I want this 18 days to be something that they will never forget. Now, let us look at what benefits the students will get at the end of the day. For me, problem solving is key. While others are complaining, this is an avenue for your child to start thinking about solution. So problem solving just give them that leverage. Instead of seeing roadblocks, they're able to see opportunities and things that they can do. Creativity also is part of what they'll be taking away, being able to creatively go through some situations and coming up with a solution to navigate through whatever you're trying to do. And finally, collaboration is also one thing that we're going to be teaching them. So the thing here is, we're not just teaching your kids what they will forget, we're teaching them what they will carry along everywhere they go. They're going to know how to solve problems, they're going to be able to creatively advance into certain situations and be able to effectively collaborate. Now, looking at the tracking segmentation, yes. So on a weekly basis, we're going to be tracking what the students are doing as much as we can. This year, we want to ensure that we give parents a weekly update. We're going to try it out. With last year, it was more like an end of the year program sort of reporting, but this year, we want to see if we can actively engage the parent as well on a weekly basis, so that we see how progressive the children are doing and how we can help them in order to achieve success. So one other thing, again, of course, the LMS that we have, our learning management system, is going to provide huge resources to the students. Like I mentioned earlier, they're going to have to themselves access to quality courses that gives them liberation to learn at their pace, and also be able to see how they can progress and do some projects on their own. While they can do all of this, like I mentioned, the access to the instructor is there, so they can always ask questions. So the program conclusion phase is where we're going to be looking at certifying the successful students. And I must mention this, right? N- Not all students will get a certification, but every student that meets our expectation would get certified. So what is mostly important to us is completion rate, right? The child being able to do what we say he can do. We don't just want it to be that we issue certificate just because the parent paid. No, we're only going to be able to issue certificate because the child can do what we say the child can do. So please and please, at every point in time, help us to engage the students to ensure that they have time to learn on their own, do things on their own. It is not a bad investment when you compel them sometimes to learn for themselves, because over time, when it becomes part and parcel of them, it becomes easier for them to do research and come up with very stunning solution that can even be a transformation, to the entire universe. Yeah. So finally, at the end of this program, we're going to be meeting with all the parents, and there's going to be a survey that will be released out to the parents, where we're going to pick a specific date just before the end of the program, where the children can come and express what they've been able to do throughout the program to you. Look at the kind of things they're able to do, and you being able to assess them, and also encourage them in this very line. Give them the support that they need, because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong if your child come up with an application and that's buzz the internet at any point. It's at that point, it's more or less about whether you want to sell it, or you want to help the child to develop the application to be something that can become a household name. So let us don't underestimate what can happen. So we're looking forward to the end, where some of the children can display to the parents what they've been able to do, and also get the support from the parents as well. So expect our continuous engagement with you. Please, in this 18 days, I just want to solicit that you just try to endure us. We're going to reach out to you as much as we can, just to make sure that your child is getting the best service. So if my guys are reaching out to you, please, they might be reaching out to you more often. Just know that it's in the best interest of your son. You've supported us to be able to deliver this service to them, and we're going to make sure that that is done. So thank you for listening to me. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to get back. If you have any concern, anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. And of course, I'll be pretty much available to answer any of your question. And at any point, of course, we can always interact to see how we can improve our children's life. Thank you for listening, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.